Yo, what's up, guys? We're here to give my day one limited playtime reaction to the new content and DVD, the new Project W chapter. There's quite a bit in it. I enjoyed my time playing it. Played probably 10 survivor games and then 2 killer games because the queues were insanely long. I've had a busy day today. So, we're just gonna give my thoughts on everything. Again, it's a PTB. They could always change stuff. There's a lot new here. We've got new maps, new characters, new perks. It's just everything. And so let's just get into it. I've got my little checklist here to make sure I don't forget anything. So first we're going to start off with the map. Raccoon City Police Department is now 2 maps. There's an east wing and a west wing. I honestly don't know the difference. It'll take some time to get used to it. I know there's just some stuff blocked off during certain ones. Like the helicopter side's blocked on one and a couple rooms down low are. And then over here, it's probably the opposite. That seems like a common sense. That's a good thing. Like there's no way they could mess that up, right? For some reason, it doesn't feel great because they added a ton of pallets and a lot of them are like pretty safe. Some of them are incredibly safe. The main hall now has 2 pallets on both the staircases up that you can't do anything about. They're they're god pallets. You can't do anything about. I just forgot the name of the one. The building. I had it in my mind earlier. It's the one down there in that room where the gen is. Conference room? I think conference room. It used to be just this window was strong and there was a pallet in there and you could run around. They added the pallet's now over here, and they added a pallet over another one in the room that are both they're decently strong, and then they connect with windows to make it really strong, even though there isn't another opening. So it's weird. It'll just take time to play more. Obviously, it'll help not playing a new killer also. But yeah, the map, it just doesn't seem perfect. They did add a bunch of new passageways and like holes from the ceiling so you can navigate more, and all the rooms are bigger also. So that's nice. But I don't know if it's smaller. Like that was one of the biggest complaints was Raccoon City's too big. They cut off areas, but I know for at least one side, they added the little outside area, which is a nice little cool area. But that just means you're adding to what's already there. So I don't really know. It'll just take time. I do think it needed to change. Oh, library is another one. This library now there's this palette and there's one over here that are, I mean, this isn't bad, but it just takes time. And then there's this one that you can't do anything about. It's a god palette. Luckily, I don't think you can ever go upstairs there, so that's good. So there's the map. It still looks really cool. Gameplay's still interesting, but whatever. We're on to the killer now. Albert Wesker, the mastermind. First thought is he is a ton of fun. I was only going to play 1 killer game because the queues, I think, were literally 15 minutes each. Like 10 to 15 minutes. So I was only going to play 1, and that first game, this is the second one, but the first game started out terribly. Like, I couldn't catch someone. 2 gens popped. I was like, oh boy, this is going to be like a terrible killer. He must be worse than I thought. And I ended up coming back and doing really well. I did well in both games, and he is just so much fun. I had so much fun, I wanted to play him again. I wanted to sit through a 15-minute queue just to play him again in a PTB in a game that doesn't even count or give me progress towards anything. And now, why is he fun? Because he can do stuff. I mean, just when he uses his power to hit survivors, and you can see right here, and he just grabs them and chucks them against the wall or like slams them into the wall. It's funny. It's a lot of fun. Like I just the first time I saw it is hilarious. It's fun as a survivor too to just get thrown everywhere. So what his power is, in case you don't know. Okay, wait, I need to watch this again. I don't remember what happened. I didn't know what happened, and I still don't know. I think the game just. Oh, it's because I didn't hit her. I didn't hit hit her with anything. So yeah, the way his power works, you can see he has two basically like blight dashes. So he charges up his power, and if you use a dash, he dashes forward, and he can do it twice, which is not a lot. Obviously, blight has 5, or he can get up to. Can he get 7, or is it only 6? Or maybe they took those away. Maybe he can only do 5. But yeah, so he has 2 dashes. If there's a survivor, what if you hit a survivor with a dash, you will sort of like grab them, and if there's an object there, they take. I'm confused on how it works a little bit. If there's an object there, they take damage 100%. Like you slam them into the wall, they take damage. You kind of set them down, they start running, and then you get the cooldown. The cooldown is the same, even though it doesn't really seem like it. Seems like you'll be stuck there. It's the same. If there's not an object, it says you still throw them and they take damage, which happened. I think it happened right there. Like I didn't hit, or do I hit her into a wall? I guess there's kind of a wall there. But when I was playing Survivor, there was one game where it was Mother's Dwelling. I got hit out in the open. He threw me and I didn't take damage. And that's what just happened with Rebecca also. I grabbed her above the hole, but because we fell and there was nothing there to hit her against, she didn't take damage. So I don't know exactly how it works, but that's kind of the idea. You just want to hit people in these tight corridors. It's really good. You can do stuff like that. It's also kind of weird though because you have to be in a straight line. You don't get a lot of wiggle room. But that's his base power. There's also the infection. You can see the little swirlies around them. As Survivor, you see the total amount, and you can see now Rebecca is, once it's red, you're fully infected, and you're just hindered. I don't know how much it is. I don't. I did one game of Survivor where I just didn't heal myself just to see if it was a big deal, and I honestly didn't notice it. I did better against the killer when I was hindered, but that probably just means that I would have done better if I wasn't hindered. So, and you can see there, you can carry survivors like quite a ways. I'm going to hit her right here, and we're going to go all the way over to the wall over here until there's like a hitbox that damages her. So infection, like Nemesis, there's supply crates around, and this time you just spray yourself. This one has a nice animation, doesn't take very long. And then you're completely free of it. And there's actually a lot of spray cans. There's like 5 or 6 crates, and each can has 2 uses. So that it's really not a big deal. His infection isn't a big deal. So that's his power. He's got some cool stuff. Like he's a killer that talks to you. I actually didn't notice it that much. He doesn't have any like really cool like over everything like Pinhead does. But he's got some lines. His animations, I guess, like some of them look cool, some of them look weird. The Mori, I think, looks really weird. It looks like it's like playing at double speed to me, and it kind of looks cartoony. I don't know how to explain it. I don't have a clip because my first half of recording glitched out and got corrupted, so that's her spraying down with a spray can. So I don't have a clip of his Mori. You can look it up. It's weird. I just don't know how to describe it. It's not one of the better ones in my opinion. So I guess I'll skip ahead a little bit. So his potential. So I have a feeling, my opinion, they're usually in PTBs, at least for me, there's 2 way things go. everyone thinks the killer is going to be ridiculously OP and needs to be nerfed, and then they end up being terrible. Or everyone thinks the killer's terrible and like wants a bunch of buffs, and then they end up being the best. At least that's kind of what that happens quite a bit, especially for my opinions. I thought Blight was awful for such a long time. I thought Artist was awful for a long time. I thought Pinhead was awful. And I mean, Blight and Artist are easily top 5. You could argue Pinhead is too. So this guy, where does he stand? So I think he has a lot of potential, and I don't really think he's gonna end up being bad, like has happened in the past. Do I get this here? I must. And you can see we went down all the way to the end of the hallway. So he doesn't have as much mobility. I tried using the charge bound is what it's called, and the little dash. I tried using that to like get across the map quickly. It doesn't work. It's terrible at that. Don't use it for that. Oh, I guess I should mention, you can also, when you're in his power, if you use it as a pallet, you just vault over it. You've probably seen it in the background. That's a nice little feature. I don't think it works on Windows because I just ran into Windows. So I think he doesn't have a lot of map pressure, but for some reason, I just feel like he's going to be really good. There, I vaulted over. If you get survivors into these tight areas, like it's a guaranteed hit. Pretty much. It's hard to dodge. He does take a little bit to charge up, and you can see him doing it. And he slows himself down a little bit. But there's a lot of times where that was just a good sum I heard. There's a lot of times where you do stuff, you put survivors in a position where they just get hit. Obviously, I have to say this with a grain of salt because I only played killer on RPD, and like 80% of my survivor games were on RPD. So maybe on other maps where we're more used to it, he just isn't as good. But there's still areas. I kind of lost my train of thought there. He's still got potential to do really well against survivors. Also, one thing I didn't mention, he can hit multiple survivors at once, which was a shock when it happened. I assume it's intended. It might, like, that might be a bug and that might change. I just got unhooked once, and my unhooker was injured. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to take the BT hit and save her. And I took the hit and he downed her. And it happened multiple times. He can definitely hit 2 people with a dash, which is also really strong for when those times when you're going back to a hook, like right before second stage, and they're there. I think he has a lot of potential. We'll see how people start dealing with him better and how people keep playing him better. And we'll just see. So now quickly over his perks. Terminus is, once the final gen is powered, anyone who is injured or becomes injured, I believe, for the first like 30 seconds is broken for that amount of time. It's really good against adrenaline, I guess. Well, it is. I don't think it's that useful though, because it's only for use at the end of the game if people are injured and like you have other stuff around it. But I mean, if you have an endgame build, that'll be a nice touch. But that's not fantastic. Superior anatomy, I didn't notice it. I guess I have the symbol. So the terminus is the one on the left, and then superior anatomy is the one on the bottom. That is when a survivor fast vaults in front of you or within 8 meters of you. Your next vault is 40% faster. Like I said, I didn't notice it once, and it triggered a few times. Like, I can think back and think of when it triggered, but I never noticed it. But it's probably all right in certain situations. The one on the right is the only, like, potentially really good one, I think. It is Awakened Awareness. Look at that mind game. She had no idea what I was doing. Awakened Awareness. When you pick someone up to go hook them, you see everyone within 20 meters of you, and then once you hook for 2 extra seconds. On most killers, this isn't a big deal. it's like nice, so you can stop any instant rescues or sabos or stuff like that. But that is gonna be incredible on Nurse, which is a whole nother issue. Like that's yeah, that's my biggest complaint with that is it's just gonna make Nurse have another super strong perk. If she has Starstruck and Awakened Awareness, you can't even hide close. And then she's got a bunch of stuff. That's my only problem. Otherwise, it's a fine perk on most killers. It'll be nice little niche stuff. So now let's go to survivors. I'll just skip ahead to when I play survivor. So first up, Ada, who is actually who I'm playing right here. The model looks really cool. It's kind of dope that she's just gonna be wearing a dress in the middle of a trial. That's cool. Her perks, do I have all three? Yeah, I do. So reactive healing is down at the bottom. So like I said, I played, I think, about 5 games with each survivor. I mean, you can see this setup is kind of insane. That's an eerie add-on to break pallets. He doesn't normally do that. So reactive healing, if you're healing yourself and a survivor is hit from... He just outplayed me here. I had an idea and it didn't work. If you're healing yourself and a survivor is hit within 32 meters of you, your progress jumps by 35%, I think. Like you'll just get an immediate boom boost in your progress. Like it never triggered for me. I don't think it's that great because you have to be healing while someone gets hit close to you, and it'll only save you like a couple seconds at most. I don't think it's that great. Low profile is the one on the right. That one's completely pointless. It's when you're the last survivor alive, you hide your scratch marks and pools of blood for 90 seconds. It's just not good because it only works if you're the last survivor. Those perks aren't good. Like the best one is, look at that. This is what it looks like from the survivor's perspective, I guess. It is funny to see survivors getting thrown around and hit and slammed into walls and stuff. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the best like last survivor perk is probably Left Behind, because it like actually gets you the escape. This one, like it's fine, you can hide for a little bit, but if you're the last survivor, it's like already a 50-50 shot, and this isn't going to make the difference of whether you survive or not. Her perk on the left, Wiretap, is one with potential, but it didn't get me too much info during these games. If you work on a gen for 33% of a gen, you can trap it like Blast Mine, only this time you get to see the killer's aura if he comes within 14 meters of it. Which this is then destroyed if he breaks the gen. So that's kind of the issue there, is like killers don't don't hang around gens unless they're gonna break it. So it's really only valuable if you put it on a certain gen that just happens to be like in the middle of a bunch of action, or maybe unlike the game, it'll probably be really good because you have multiple floors. But I actually, right here, my plan, I go to the middle of the map and put it on a gen that's in the middle, because I think like that's the best place to get value. And I don't think I get any value here, but later on I actually get a little bit from the one down there. But if you have multiple people with this, I can see it working, because you can kind of move it. You can have multiple areas where you can see the killer. So it's got potential, but it's not the best. So Rebecca's perks, after playing with them, none of these perks are really that great. So she has one called Better Than New, which if you heal someone, they do gens, totems, chests, healing, I think. Like they do everything 6% faster for 35 seconds. I ran with her 3 perks. all in my 5 games. I don't think that one ever did anything. I only healed, like, people either bring med kits, or I think I healed like one person, but then it's 35 seconds and it's not much more. This, I'm still confused at what happened. He only has 2 dashes, and to me it seems like he did 3 here. Because there's 1, you can hear 2 there, and then 3rd, but I guess the 2nd just continued? I don't know. That one I'm still confused about. So better than new. Yeah, I didn't see much value here. This is a good dead hard by me. And then I run into a hook and not up the stairs. Better than new. It might be kind of nice, but it's not great. Reassurance. This one is going to be really strong with teams and competitively, if you care about that. This allows you to, if you get within 6 meters of someone on a hook, you can pause their timer, like camaraderie. I only played a little bit myself and haven't watched or like seen other people test stuff. I don't know if you can like do this multiple times and stack it with camaraderie and just like have someone on the hook for 27 years, but it might be possible. I did this one. I 100% got value of today. There was someone on a hook downstairs. It was end game, and like someone was dead and someone was injured. I went above her, paused her timer, healed myself with the med kit, and had time to go get her with like in plenty of time. So that one I had good success with in one game. It's one of those perks that it's not going to work every game, but it might. If you get someone camping and you can go pause their timer for, I don't remember how long it is. I think it's 30. I think it's 30 seconds. So if you can do that, that's good. And now her last perk, Rebecca's last perk, is the one I tried the most to get the most value of. It is hyper focus. That is a perk that if you hit a great skill check, that increases your odds of getting more skill checks. It increases the speed of skill checks, but it also like greatly increases the progression bonus. So, and you get up to 6 tokens. So if you hit great skill checks, you get more skill checks that when you hit, you get a larger chunk of progress. So what I did here, I don't know if that's explained very well, but that's what it does. What I did is I had a toolbox. I had stakeout 4 stacks just to be clear and make sure I don't miss them. And I finally, one game, I managed to get up to 6 stacks while doing a gen by myself. And I think I did a solo gen. It felt like definitely half the time. It felt like more. I wish my files got corrupted, or else I would have went back and timed it. So I don't know for sure, but it actually wasn't like that one has a lot of percent. If you can solo a gen in half the time, that's really good. And it sounds like it might be hard, or like you need stakeout, which takes another perk away and stuff like that. But stakeout only got me 1 skill check, I think, out of the 5. Or out of the 6 that you needed to hit. They start coming really fast, but if it's, as long as it's not one of the like really quick ones, if it's down the line, I didn't have a problem hitting them at all. Like I said, I got up to 6 and I only used stakeout once, and that's hitting the great. If you have like, this is not happening also, you can probably get up there. The only thing I don't understand if I like this or not. So hyperfocus disables when you stop working on a gen, including completing it, or if you hit a good skill check and not a great. I don't think it should go away if you complete a gen. Because like I did all the work to build up 6 and I finished the gen fast, and then it just went away like I failed, which I didn't do. That's the only thing I don't like. So that perk might have a little niche play style and a way to do gens really quick solo. So I think, well, see, I was going to wrap it up here, but then I remembered I go on this chase for a while. So we'll just do a nice little recap. So, yeah. Again, the map is still, I'm not sure if it's better or not. Like this, that's a really good pallet. If you come from that angle, like you make so much distance there. You can see one pallet there and there's one over here. Next to windows on both sides. This is a cool little area out here, but it just adds more space to the map. That pallet's not good. This one over here is terrible too, so it's not like a strong area. But I guess we'll just see on the map because we'll see how other killers deal with it and everything. Wesker is a ton of fun. He has a lot of potential to be really good. Another good Dead Hard by me. Let's go. Cruel Limits blocked that. You can see I'm very confused as to why it was blocked, but it was Cruel Limits. Oh, this is actually... Do I have Wiretap? This might be where I get Wiretap. Like, decent Wiretap value. If it hasn't already happened. The two survivors look cool. They have voice lines, also. They kind of have cool animations in the lobby. Rebecca gives you a thumbs up, as long as you're not holding an item. The perks, I don't see much really good in the 9 total ones. Couple nice little situational perks, but yeah, actually I just played this. I don't remember what happened. I think he just goes on a long chase and I sit and do the gen. I guess we can fast forward. I'm pretty much done talking. That's my thoughts. I don't think they're going to change much because they never do. Is there anything I would change? Wesker feels a little clunky, but I think that's just not getting used to the timing of stuff and like letting your second dash load. I think you have to let it power up before you use it. You can't do it instantly like I thought you could. Oh, see, here's good wiretap value. I install it. I know which way he's going. I know he doesn't have a hook for a while. I take a hit. And he's off. So there's value. What was I talking about? I wish I could have healed here. If I would have fully healed, this game, we actually might have gotten out. Kind of 2v1. Did I hit all the notes? Oh yeah, I was talking about they're not going to change much. I don't think they really need to change much. It'll just be interesting to see how he deals with other maps because most of the stuff we played today was RPD, which is a weird map that we're also getting used to because it's new. People seem to enjoy going against him. I loved playing him. It was fun to play against him too. Those times when you get caught, it's kind of like a jump scare too, because you don't always expect to get hit. Like you can see him dash there. I thought he would hit me. That's why I dead-hearted. All right. Yeah, that's it. I'm excited. 3 weeks till actual release. Maybe change the numbers on the perks a little bit, I guess. They could probably do a couple things more, but maybe I just haven't thought of everything in all the specific examples. But yeah, I'm done rambling.